17 years later, Malegaon truth is now out. The real conspiracy, the conspiracy to defame RSS and several other prominent leaders is now out. Several of them have already spoken. Tonight, joining us is Mr. Ram Madhav. Mr. Madhav, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. Let me straight away begin by asking you, multiple witnesses have now come on record to state that they were then forced to take the name of RSS leaders. Is the pattern now very clear?
Not now. It was clear to us 15, 17 years ago itself when all this conspiracy began. It was a very well laid out conspiracy. I was privy to the investigation until it was handed over to NIA in 2011. We were very clear at the time that there was a big conspiracy that was being laid out. Firstly, to create a terror equivalent to Islamic terror. Create a non-existent thing called Saffron terror or Hindu terror. For that purpose, they laid out a very intelligent trap using agencies and using their, of course, the Home Ministry and all. The consequences we have seen. Innocents were dragged into it, and later they tried to use those innocent youngsters to put force, use violence, use a lot of torture and all as a means to reach the top leadership of the RSS. I used to handle these cases in the initial years. 4 or 5 years I have handled them. So I know everything about what those guys were doing. It was a very sinister conspiracy. Look, we came out clean finally as an organization. But today, all those youngsters who were wrongly sought to be implicated in these cases have also come out one after the other. There were 5, 6 different cases. The last case was this Malegaon Blast Case. Finally, the truth has come out that it was a conspiracy by the then UPA government to, number one, of course, create this terror equivalent as Hindu terror, but also to come at the organizations like RSS and other Hindu bodies.
You said that this is the conspiracy that was hatched by the UPA government. Mr. Ram Madhav, you have been privy to the investigation that has been carried out. Would you then today finally take the name of those who are behind this conspiracy? Those who wanted to equate or bring in the equivalence between Islamic terror and Saffron terror. Who are the people behind this conspiracy?
See, there are many different people in the police, in the investigating agency. They are there. Some of their names have already come out. Pragya talked about Singh, who had his own notoriety in service, and many others. But I would like to invoke the names of those political leaders of the Congress party who made it into a big issue to convince the world outside that there existed something called Hindu terror. They start with no less a person than Mr. Rahul Gandhi himself. You know, there were WikiLeaks which said that Rahul went and told certain embassy, foreign embassy mission guys that Hindu terror is much.
You were saying that Rahul Gandhi had spoken to some of the embassy members, and there was this entire thing about Saffron terror being a larger threat.
Oh yes. So he tried to equate or present it as a much bigger threat than even Lashkar-e-Taiba. That's the kind of propaganda he indulged in. Then the then Home Minister, Mr. Chidambaram, talked about the Hindu terror being a reality. The then next minister, Mr. Sushil Shinde, who became the Home Minister succeeding Mr. Chidambaram, he talked about it. And Digvijay Singh went to the extent of saying that the Malegaon and even the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks were a conspiracy of RSS. This was to the extent to which the then Congress leadership went to, of course, defame the entire Hindu community, but they didn't realize in the process they are actually defaming our country.
Mr. Ram Madhav, Western powers, would it be appropriate to say that this conspiracy was not only being hatched here in our country by the powers at helm at that point in time, but also people with vested interests outside the country? Because why exactly would Rahul Gandhi really go and tell the embassy officials about the so-called Saffron terror, if at all there wasn't something coming from outside? So can we really rule out the possibility of Western interference at that point in time to build this entire conspiracy or fuel this entire conspiracy?
Look, I don't want to divert the blame from those perpetrators in our country, in our government at that time, to some outside forces. Maybe some outside, maybe didn't. I don't have any such evidence. At least at that time when I was monitoring or looking after these issues for the first 3 4 years, it was clearly a conspiracy laid out by the then UPA government, its leadership. They tried to implicate RSS. They even tried to reach out to the top leadership of the RSS, including the current chief, who was the general secretary of the RSS at that time. So I think it is largely the handiwork of these people. Particularly talking about Rahul Gandhi, there is no surprise. Rahul Gandhi always tries to, say negative things about India in front of the international audience. He goes to universities outside to only, badmouth the country situation and all. Even yesterday we have seen he was supporting Trump, who said that Indian economy is dead, and he's saying that Trump is right, Indian economy is dead, whereas Indian economy is doing so well. Has this habit. It's very unfortunate for the leader of the opposition to behave like that. He doesn't understand, probably it is beyond his comprehension, that he goes out and defames India. That apart, this conspiracy should be fully put at the doorstep of the Congress party, the UPA government. It was their conspiracy.
Before I go into the details of the conspiracy here, Mr. Ram Madhav, I was a young reporter in Mumbai when I met those witnesses. At that point in time, they were extremely afraid because the government was after them. I remember categorically speaking to one of those witnesses, I'm not naming the witness here, has come on record to say how they were being tortured by the ATS at that point in time. Sadhvi Pragya has come on record to say the Prime Minister's name was to be taken because she was spending a considerable amount of time in Gujarat. You say that you have been handling this case right from the beginning. What is it that the world really does not know? What is it that you figured out when you were looking into this case right at the stage, right at the beginning? I want you to tell the viewers, tell our viewers who have been watching, what exactly did you find in the preliminary stage?
You see, I probably don't want to reveal too many of those details at this juncture, but I can tell you that whatever stories that you are hearing from some of those accused about the torture during the course of investigation and all are utterly true. There's not at all any exaggeration. We used to get horrible stories about how they treated Sadhvi Pragya, how they treated Prasad Purohit, and how treated several others. They were tortured to a great extent, to at least extract some names of the RSS and BHP leadership. So it was very shocking. Obviously, I was privy to many things, but it is not the right time to talk about individuals and all. But I will definitely vouch for those things that were being narrated by those victims. I know they are talking to media and they are telling so many things. Most of them are not exaggeration. They were facts. What all happened to people like Purohit and all, it was all, whatever they were saying is it was true. We have seen it in front of our eyes.
Were you all being pressurized at that point in time by the then government? Was there some sort of an indirect pressure coming on members of the RSS like you and a few others at that point in time, asking you all to back off? Did something of that sort happen?
Look, I was one of the national team members, so nobody asked me to back out or anything. But we were involved. We were definitely in engagement with the investigating agencies, because after all, they needed somebody to reach out to people in the RSS. We never, I must say on record, that we always cooperated with the agencies, knowing well that it was a political conspiracy. Agencies were just the handmaidens of the government of the day. And, in any system, there will be good officers, there will be bad officers. There have seen all kinds of officers who were just trying to please their political bosses, but they were also officers of some conscience who were not allowing wrong things to happen. So it was a long story, but I very vividly remember the way they tried to, of course, you are right, they tried to put pressure on me also at one point while we were fully cooperating with the agency. This was during CBI time. Once NIA took over, I thought mostly the investigation went on very professional lines.
But I want to ask you, there are rogue officers also, officers with vested interest. Today, Sadhvi Pragya, in an interview to Republic TV, categorically took the name of the former Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh, saying that a corrupt officer, someone who tortured her, and she has demanded that investigation should take place against Parambir Singh. Mr. Ram Madhav, as a senior professional, I want to ask you this question. Would you also join the same demand that Sadhvi Pragya has made, that officers like Parambir Singh need to be investigated, because this is not about political bosses, it's also about officers with vested interests. They need to be exposed too.
Parambir Singh is a retired officer now, and everybody knows his history, how he was subsequently suspended from service, and how many cases he faced. Even he faced the allegations of having links with Mumbai's underworld. So, what Sadhvi Pragya said about Mr. Singh was very true. We knew what was happening at the time itself, that she was being subjected to very inhuman treatment. It's there is this Geneva Convention. How do you treat with people under custody and all that? And we have our own procedures under our criminal procedure code. All those things were violated. She was subjected to inhuman treatment, which a woman should not face. All that was done. Right now, it is coming out, not just from Sadhvi Pragya. I don't know if you followed. One of the officers who worked under Mr. Parambir Singh himself gave a statement that he was supposed to take up the name of Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, and even he was asked to go and arrest Mr. Mohan Bhagwat. And all this was being done. Who are the masters? We don't know. And to your specific question, what should happen to them? Let the agencies decide what should be done with those people who cross those red lines. Investigators have the responsibility to investigate, but there are certain rules to follow. They were all violated. Those rules were violated. What to do with them? Let the government of the Maharashtra state government decide.
One final question, Mr. Ram Madhav. Asauddin Owaisi made a mention of the verdict that came out and said it was disappointing. He says that what's the truth behind Malegaon? Do you believe that we do not know who carried out the blasts in Malegaon? Do you believe that a full-fledged investigation should take place, something that the court has already indicated, that the reality, the real truth should come out? Because all this while, it was a cooked-up narrative that we were being sold for the last 17 years. But till today, we don't know the real story.
Everybody will be happy to know the real truth. But that real truth, if at all it comes out, it will expose so many big people, I'm sure, who actually planned this whole conspiracy, who was not just Malegaon. There were blasts in trains happening, and those blasts were attributed to certain Hindu youngsters. Why did they try to create a terror equivalent in India in the form of Hindu or Saffron terror? That will certainly bring so many skeletons out of the closet. But who doesn't want to know the truth? But this judgment has done justice to those youngsters who have been wrongly implicated, suffered in police custody for many, many years. Some spent 10 years, some spent 8 years, and who faced this case, who faced the trial for almost 17 years. Finally, justice has been rendered to them.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ram Madhav, for taking out the time and sharing your thoughts on this. Someone who has been very close to this entire investigation, has worked out so that the nation really knows what's the truth. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.